A lot of my peers already were done with their exams, so like I would like start comparing myself with the others, and that's just, plays a lot with my mind. So I was very, very sad. But I shared this with my Buddhist friends, and they encouraged me, and we chanted together, and I determined to take it in a week. Daisaku Ikeda says the most important thing is getting into the habit of challenging yourself to the limit in this way. In a sense, the results you get don't matter all that much. The actual grades you receive in high school, for instance, won't decide the rest of your life. But the habit of challenging yourself to the limit will time bear fruit. It will distinguish you from others without fail and bring your unique talents to shine.
From SGI USA, I'm Cassidy Bradford, and this is Buddhability, the weekly series where I talk with Buddhists from all walks of life about the power we each have to change our lives and the world around us. Welcome to Buddhability, Ayumi. I'm very happy to have you here. Just to get things started, I always have guests introduce themselves, so you can just share a little bit about who you are and your life growing up.
Okay, yeah, thank you for having me. So hi everyone, my name is Ayumi Sasaki. I am 26 years old and I currently live in Detroit, Michigan. And I'm a certified public accountant, a CPA for short, and I currently work as an auditor at a public accounting firm in downtown Detroit. And I've been there for around 3.5 years. And yeah, same firm since I graduated from grad school in Ohio. But I'm originally from Montreal, Canada. I was born and raised there, from Japanese parents who immigrated from Japan in their like early 30s. So yeah, I was there until high school, and then I moved to Bowling Green, Ohio for college. And yeah, to play
That's a
tennis
big
there.
change.
Yeah. From a big city, one of the bigger cities in Canada, to little small college town, Ohio. It was
Mm-hmm.
definitely a big change, but yeah, I love my experience in Bowling Green. I got to play tennis and also get an education, both my undergrad and graduate degree. So,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay, you liked it enough to stay. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
Wow.
so yeah, right after graduation, I moved to Detroit
Hmm.
to work full time. But
And how did you like start practicing Buddhism? Like your parents practice, right?
yeah, so my dad practices. So
Okay.
yeah, I was born into this to the practice. So, growing up, I was always involved in, you know, kids and student activities with the community in Montreal. And also I have a younger sister who's 4 years younger than me. So we would always do activities together, or, you know, give like a introduction to a meeting or
Yeah.
yeah. So we had a lot of like Buddhist friends and like people our age growing up. So I was always active in that way.
When you left for college and you were finally like out of that environment, out of being around like your family's practice and outside of that Buddhist community, did you kind of continue practicing, or was it something that was like, oh, this is like kind of part of my life, but maybe not 100%?
Yeah, so that was, yeah, it was different because I didn't have that much support anymore. And like I grew up always chanting, so daily in the morning and the evening. So that was like a normal thing that I tried to still keep up. But you're in the dorms in college, so I was like, dude, I had roommates, so I was trying to do it like quietly. So beginning of college, it was harder to keep that up. And the monthly meetings we had, we still had some at Bowling Green, but it was, like a smaller groups. And so I was still attending some meetings, but I wasn't that active.
And then you moved to Michigan where you are now after graduate school. And what was that transition like, just like in your personal life, how it impacted your practice? Talk me through that time in your life.
Yeah, so I moved to Michigan in the summer of 2021. So still COVID. My work was fully remote. I think gradually, like after like 2022 is when we were like hybrid. So, but yeah, I didn't really know a lot of people. And then the Buddhist center was closed and everything was still on Zoom. So I didn't really know anyone too. So that was hard. Like going from, in college, I had all my teammates who were very close and we would just spend time together like every day from like morning practices to training and then classes. We had some classes together and like having dinners, lunches together and just also like my accounting classmates too, like having that support of studying together, going from all of that support to almost
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah, that was a transition for sure.
When you moved,
Hmm.
did you move while you were still fully remote, or like once you were started working hybrid is when you moved?
I moved when it was fully remote. Yeah, so it was like August
Wow.
2021. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that sounds really like very lonely and isolating.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, for sure. I had a roommate when I moved to Michigan, but also, I mean, we had the same job. We were the same company, but she was in a
Ah,
different
okay.
different department, so we didn't
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
didn't really interact. But I had her. But that's when I also started studying for my CPA exams. So any activities she was like inviting me to, I was like, sorry, I can't. I have to study. So um I was really isolating myself too from like
Yeah.
yeah, because of
That's
studying.
totally, I don't know, like maybe this is not the case for everyone, but I feel like when I'm like really struggling and I'm feeling alone, even though I know that I'll feel better like spending time with other people, or I know that I'll feel better if I chant or whatever, like I just want to isolate myself, which is like, this is like the one thing that's making it worse.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I definitely like relate to the like, I've got other stuff to do. I'm gonna like kind of create that distance. Um,
Yeah.
what made you decide that you wanted to become a CPA? And like, what's the process? You said you were studying for it. I know, like, I studied liberal arts. So talk to me as if, you're talking to a child here.
Okay.
Like, what's the process?
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, the CPA exams, they're not like really required to
Okay.
do accounting.
Okay.
Um, but it's better to have one to further your career and have more opportunities. And if you want to become like, I don't know, like a CFO or like up in the ladder, it's better to have one. Or like if you work in a public accounting firm, like that's where I am. So you can become a partner, which is like the
Got
the
it.
top.
Okay.
I don't know if that made sense.
Yeah, no, no, no. It makes sense. It makes sense. 'Cause,
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
like in a lot of fields, right? Getting like certain certification or
Yeah.
degrees definitely like help you advance your career. Um,
Yeah.
what was like, do you have to take just like one exam? How do you like get it?
Yeah, so it's four exams, four different subjects, and each exam takes about 2 to 4 months to study for. And you can take it as many time as you want, but it's just expensive. The one time is expensive. It's
Yeah.
hard to schedule it. And also the material is like there's a material for each subject, but it's self-paced, so you kind of have to find your own time. You don't have to go to like a classroom to do it or get online classes. You just have to do it at your own pace.
What was it like studying for the exams?
Yeah, it was really challenging because it was nothing like studying for like exams in high school or college. Um, so I went into studying for these exams thinking that it's like a normal college exam,
Yeah.
but It wasn't. I really didn't know what to expect, really. I heard from people it's like super hard, and some people say, "Oh, I passed in the first try." Um, but it was really different. And it's
Mm,
really like it's like your own pace, so it's like really your own journey. Everyone takes, even if you're studying with someone, they're probably studying for a different subject, or they're like taking it before you or after you, and it's really a different
yeah.
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you feel like about your skills that you started preparing for the exam?
Yeah, I wasn't really confident to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah, so I first decided to take regulation exam, which is tax law, and that was my weakest subject in college.
Wow. Oh, so you were starting off like, okay, let's just get the
Yeah,
hardest one out of the way.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I like that approach.
Yeah, so I decided to do the worst one that I thought personally. So I was not confident a lot. Like my classes in college, I took two tax classes in college, and I mean I passed them, but it wasn't amazing. So I was very worried. I wasn't sure what to expect going to these exams because they're like 4 hours long. It's like a mix of multiple choice, mix of like case studies. So everyone has different exams.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Wow. So like as you were kind of feeling like I'm assuming kind of stressed, not very confident about like
Mhm.
starting these exams, were you like chanting at all about it? What did your practice look like at the time?
Yeah, at the time, I would say it wasn't very strong. I was chanting, but it was like chanting, just like chanting to, no, I'll pass these exams. I'll pass the exam. I didn't have like a strong determination. I feel like I should have had like a clear goal, like I want to pass to have 80% on the exam, or like chance have like smaller goals. And I was also not really involved in like SG activities, like Buddhist activities. So like one of the main things of Buddhist activities is like connecting with the community and sharing about our goals and sharing about challenges and encouraging each other. And I did really didn't have that. So that was why I felt like very isolated with myself also, and really on my own battle. So,
Yeah. Well, when
yeah.
things are really hard, it's like
Hmm.
we can't really do it by ourselves, you know? Like, and sometimes we
Hmm.
can feel like I'm gonna do it by myself, or in my case, usually I'm like experience like shame or embarrassment. Like, I don't want to tell
Hmm.
people I'm struggling so much, but it's
Hmm.
like the moment that I can like connect with somebody and share and get kind of like the encouragement that I need, I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
okay. All right, one step forward. Okay, I can do this. I can do this.
Yeah.
Um, was there a moment that like things kind of changed for you, that you started to like rely more on your Buddhist practice as like a way to like challenge yourself in terms of the exam?
Yeah. So I started to be more like active, like maybe a year in after I moved to Michigan. The Buddhist center started to open up, and we started to meet with people in the community. So that's where I met more Buddhist friends, and they really encouraged me. And I got to be more involved in supporting activities that are especially in the Buddhist center. So we have this group that support every Sunday, and I really was able to be connected to everyone because before every activity, we would share about our goals and determination for that day, and it made me realize that some people had same like similar challenges as me, like getting a different license, or like getting through PhDs. And so that was really encouraging for me. Yeah, so I feel like that really helped me get through. those exams, and also like, we all have doubts and
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
especially going through the exams while I was working with like other
Oh,
coworkers.
yeah. I
Yeah.
forgot you're like working this whole time, your first job out of college too, which is also like so intense.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very
Wow.
intense, and a lot of my peers already were done with their exams or were about to be finished with their exams. So like I would like start comparing myself with the others, and that's just, you know,
Yes.
plays a lot with my mind. So yeah, sharing about those challenges, I think that really helped me. Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
what happened when it like came time to actually like take the first exam, the tax law one, and how did you feel going into it?
Yeah, so the first one, I was very nervous. I remember I took it like in the morning, it was like an 8 a.m. exam. So I remember like I didn't really sleep well, and I woke up at like 5 a.m. trying to get through my notes. Yeah, I don't think I yeah, I was very, very nervous. I went into it, and I remember opening the computer and I didn't know the answer to the first question. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that's very
yeah,
disheartening. Yeah.
yeah. So I felt very unprepared. But I still went through the exam, and I didn't know the score right away, but I knew that it
Oh
wasn't
my
good.
gosh, you don't get the score right? Oh my, this is like
No, I
cruel.
know.
Oh my
I
gosh.
know. Yeah, you find out the score like a month later. Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Okay, and
yeah.
so what happened? A month later, you find out.
I found out I failed pretty badly. Yeah, yeah. So it was like very devastating, I would say. I always worked hard and strived to get like good grades throughout high school and, college. I had to maintain good grades to keep my scholarship or like getting to good schools. Having failing that badly was very uh confidence shattering, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I really had to like relearn or like change the method of how I was studying for this exam.
And it's hard when like like I am personally like overachiever and for a long time like I tied my self-worth to
Yeah.
like test scores or whatever my like external kind of things are that are like, oh,
Hmm.
I'm good, I'm smart, I'm this, I'm that. So then for me like getting like a bad grade or something like that could just really shatter my like sense of
Hmm.
self.
Hmm.
Did you like experience that at all as you were like going through this?
Yeah, for sure. I failed many times. The other subjects, like the tax law exam, I failed 3 times after that. Like, even if
Wow.
my grade was like kept, going up, at least it was progressing, but it was still not good enough to pass. But I really, I didn't want to let my grade like define me or my intelligence. So it was, yeah, that was hard, but I really kept determining. Daisaku Ikeda, he has this quote in the Discussions on Youth book that he wrote that says, even if you have the tendency to make a determination, but only stick to it for 2 or 3 days, it is okay as long as you keep refreshing that determination. Those who can keep renewing their resolution have a great patience. And he also says that it's also important to get in the habit of pushing yourselves an extra 5 minutes. So when you think I cannot do anymore, I want to go out and have some fun, that is the time to challenge yourselves to keep at it another 5 minutes. So those who persevere for an extra 5 minutes are truly admirable. victory is there, and this is one of life's truth. So yeah, so I kept just believing myself and just didn't give up. Really redetermining my goals.
It's, yeah, I, when I like fail at something, or actually, honestly, sometimes growing up, like I wouldn't even try something if I thought I wasn't going to be able to excel at it,
Mhm.
rather than like, oh, it's okay. You just have to like try again until you get it. Um, what role would you say like chanting played in like your ability not to give up? Like, were there moments where you were chanting where you were like, I don't know if I can possibly do this anymore?
Yeah. I think really being able to like share those goals and those challenges with my Buddhist friends like really kept me going because I had these people that, we were all like holding each other accountable. But it was also like my mission, and I really wanted to show like actual proof that this practice really works. And I just didn't want to I didn't want to quit.
Yeah, yeah, totally,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah, yeah. And it's not an impossible exam. It's a journey, but it's not impossible, especially with this practice. We say nothing is impossible. So I just kept
Mm.
believing in it, and it took me 2 years to pass all of these.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
But yeah.
I I remember us talking that like throughout this you really like discovered more like why your motivation of like why you wanted to become a CPA. Would you
hmm
talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I first took these CPA exam because it's a requirement kind of
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like,
that
oh, it's just
yeah.
obligation. It's the
Yeah.
track. Yeah.
Yeah, to check off a box on my career. But yeah, I realized through practicing and also like dialogues, one of my Buddhist friends said, like asked me like what's your true purpose? And also think about, world peace. So she said that anything you do is for world peace. And so that really resonated with me. But I realized that ever since I was little, I always wanted to help. And my parents actually own a Japanese restaurant back home in Canada. So I was always like involved in the business, the brainstorming of the business, and working with numbers. And even now I make like spreadsheets for them, Excel spreadsheets for the for like
Oh,
inventories or for like calculating different things for the business. And I always enjoyed like learning about how businesses work. So like by becoming a CPA, I could become this trusted advisor and like help people their dreams. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so that really it was like one motivation that I think that I was missing while I was studying all these. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
hmm
Sometimes I can take a lot of time to chant about like, but like, why? Like, what is really like the deeper motivation? What is the purpose?
hmm
Because when things get really hard, if you don't really have that, it's easy to just like give up.
Yeah.
But anytime I think about like, oh, but I want to be able to like use my life for like to encourage others for the betterment of society, humanity, like that then creates this like, oh, wow. This thing that seems like a really difficult challenge is also like really meaningful because I can encourage people. I can, show that this is possible with my life. But for me, like I can only really like tap into that through chanting. How did it feel like going into the last time you took the exam? Did you feel confident this time or were you still like, I feel so ill prepared like the very first time?
I felt more prepared. the last few subjects because I was more familiar with them. So I took tax first. Tax one, I decided to stick to it. I didn't like move on even if I failed. But tax one was hard, but I passed it. And then the second one I took was financial reporting. And that I failed once. So I took two
Okay, that's
attempts. I took
improvement. Okay.
the second to last one was audit. So that was my supposed to be my strongest, but I failed by 1 point.
Wow. What did it
Yeah,
feel when you found out you had failed by just 1 point?
it was like more devastating than than the tax one
Yeah.
because I was so confident that I was gonna pass in the first try. Like getting a 74% versus
Yeah.
a 60 something. That was, yeah, I was more defeated for
Yeah.
sure.
How
Yeah.
long did it take you to like bounce back to be able to take it again?
I took it within a week.
Wow. Okay, you were
Yeah.
devastated, but like not that devastated.
Exactly. So I wanted to get it out of the way. Like I didn't know what I missed though, because 1 point I don't know. I kept my but like my mind kept going back like was it this question that I like changed my answer, or like was it
Yeah.
I knew that, I mean, I studied and I was like a year and a half into my audit career. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
You're like, I'm
so
doing this every day. How could I fail?
yeah, so I was very, very sad. But I shared this with my Buddhist friends and they encouraged me and we chanted together, and I determined to take it in a week. So
Wow.
but yeah,
It's
and then
amazing.
yeah. Yeah, and I took the whatever that was available near me. The nearest testing center that was available was like an hour and a half away. But I took it there. Yeah, I stayed at another Buddhist friend's house and chanted together the day before, took the exam the next day, and then really felt confident. More confident than.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I passed that. I was good. And then going to my last one I passed in my first try.
Yes. Wow, each time was just like a little bit more, okay, a little bit sooner I'm passing, a little bit sooner. Wow.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah.
did it feel to pass that one on the first try?
Oh, it was amazing. It was like no more studying. I have more free time. I can do whatever now after work. Yeah, it was the greatest feeling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So like looking back on those 2 years, like what do you think were like the biggest ways that you've grown, or the like maybe most meaningful things that like you've learned about yourself?
Yeah. I feel like I learned so much.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was like really finding my own practice and really believing in this practice, because I think it was one of the biggest challenges that I faced in my life till then. Like I never really thought about quitting before, but with this being in this journey, like just giving up, like having that thought of giving up like occurred to me. So really like getting through that and really finding different ways and um challenging myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really like growing as a person and having that support and community. I think one of the biggest benefit I get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
takes,
I feel like,
yeah.
growing up, I was following my dad to all these meetings and just chanting for, good grades, or like playing this tournament or winning a tournament, tennis tournament. But really like, moving to Michigan, I'm on my own and trying to really rediscover myself and also finding my own like Buddhist practice, not having, my dad there or like
Yeah,
so
totally.
yeah, finding my own community, but um
Yeah.
yeah,
I love what you said about like kind of like finding yourself. Because I
yeah.
think that, I don't know, I feel like many times when I'm chanting, I'm like just seeing myself in my life
Hmm.
more clearly. I'm really seeing my capacity more clearly. Um, do you feel like you have a different relationship with yourself now than like maybe when you started the exams? Like maybe the way that you think about yourself or, self-talk, anything like that?
Yeah, I feel like when I was first starting these exams, I had a lot of doubts, doubts in myself, a lot of doubts in my head.
Totally.
But I really for like now I still have doubts, but feel like with this practice I can really like get over them and know how to handle them. So I don't let it get I don't really get to me.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yeah.
for sure more confidence now and also like practice wise now that I got through this experience, I get to share with other people. So I understand the practice more now. And really the real meaning of this practice. So yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah, I definitely feel like I like yeah, that you still can experience doubts. It's not that people that practice Buddhism don't ever doubt things or don't ever have struggles, but like you said, the difference is like you don't let it get to you in the same way, or
Hmm.
you don't let it totally like wipe you out. You know how to deal with them.
Yeah.
Because it really is like a tool. Like, oh, now I understand like how I can, because I've gone through some kind of struggle, now I know how to do that for other struggles in my life. I always like close out episodes asking for advice. So the question I have for you is what piece of advice you would give to someone who's failed at something and maybe they're listening to this and they're in a moment that's like, I really like I don't want to give up, but I'm ready. It's too much. I can't, I can't do it anymore. What would you say to them?
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, but yeah, I would say like not to be defeated, really. And like I said before, like find your true purpose and why you started this process in the first place. And also even if you fail, it's okay because everything is a learning opportunity and you get to grow as a person. And sometimes you feel like the world is falling apart, but really like trust in yourself and trust in this practice. And don't let these failures define you. Um, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I found this it was a daily guidance that I saw I think like 2 days before. Um and Daisaku Ikeda says the most important thing is getting into the habit of challenging yourself to the limit in this way. In a sense, the results you get don't matter all that much. The actual grades you receive in high school, for instance, won't decide the rest of your life. But the habit of challenging yourself to the limit will time bear fruit. It will distinguish you from others without fail and bring your unique talents to shine. I'm sure some people are going through exams, testing, but don't give up.